You've sent out 100 resumes. The phone isn't ringing. Does it sound familiar? Chances are your resume is the guilty one and is guilty of one of the top mistakes that we're going to talk about today. From buzzwords to using crazy fonts and just crazy formatting, we're here to talk about some of the most common things that we have seen as we've helped others by reviewing their resumes and seeing if maybe you're falling for one of these 10 mistakes. Welcome back to the Cybersecurity Mentors Podcast. Today's episode is all about the top 10 resume mistakes we see over and over again and how to fix them. Now, this isn't about shaming, it's about learning. So every example we share today is based on real resumes we've reviewed.
Yeah, so quick reminder, we're going to talk about a lot of things where people do wrong, and we're going to be nice about it, but we see these things and we just want to make sure people are aware. But one not sneaky, but level up way for you to get your resume seen, even if it isn't perfect, if you do have one of these things in there, is to get over the gatekeeper, is to make sure you're networking with the right people. You've already got an in. How much more does it make you feel confident if you got an in with that organization and you know somebody or they know you and they're going to put in a good word for you? But maybe you don't know how to do that. Maybe you're not sure how to get that connection going. Guess what? We have a course for you. And we built this course called Networking is King. And we think it's great. It tells you all these tips and tricks on how to make those connections, how to build real relationships with others, and to get your resume to the front of the line, even if you do have a couple of snafus. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully it's magic, it's gold. But even if you do, this is going to help get your resume above the stack.
Absolutely. And even after watching this video, hopefully you can go back and look and review and correct some of those mistakes if you do have them. Not to mention, as always, our swag shop. Oh, wrong way. Our swag shop is live, so go ahead and snag you something, whether it's a hoodie, a coffee mug, a sticker, you name it, we have it. So all the links will be down in the show notes.
All right, well, let's talk about the first snafu. What are we calling these? Mistakes?
We're going to call them mistakes.
Okay.
All right, we're going to call them mistakes. So what's the first one, John?
First one, Buzzword Buffet. And I get it. Well, what is a buzzword? What's the Buzzword Buffet, Steve?
A buzzword buffet is when people get a little too excited by using a lot of buzzwords and they're just throwing everything at their resume without really thinking it through and seeing what actually fits and matches with their experience, their knowledge, their know-how. They're just throwing everything in there.
Right. And I think it comes from a place of, hey, there's going to be an HR filter that is looking for keywords and maybe certificates. And I want to make sure I have as many keywords and certificate words as possible to make it through the gatekeeper that is the whatever. It could be AI, whatever, the HR gatekeeper. But eventually that resume is going to land in somebody like us, one of our laps, and we're going to be like, what in the world?
Yeah, absolutely.
We know what happened. We know what you did. But that doesn't make it look pretty compared to a resume that did not do that. Right, Steve?
Absolutely. Yes. And I have an example. So what I'm going to read out to you is an example that we have. So it says, experienced in leveraging cutting edge, best in class, synergistic cybersecurity paradigms to proactively ensure robust dynamic security solutions. What in the world is that?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
As long as you got synergistic in there, you're good. We know you're amazing.
What in the world? What are you? And this is like you said, John. We get it. There's certain things you're trying to improve your odds at getting at least through the first phase or two phase and get it to that human being. We get that, but come on, please. It's simple is more, and this is a great example. So. This is what a good rewritten kind of example is. Developed and implemented security controls that reduce phishing incidents by 30% across the organization. So we rewrite that in the sense that we simplify it, but we're not just throwing some buzzwords in there. We're actually talking about things that we have done, things that we have accomplished. So things that we can say are measurable achievements in that role, in that position. So that, to me, is way more important and shows way more value than just trying to have as many buzzwords in there as possible.
And buzzwords also could be like you're throwing every cert you ever have had. Maybe it's 10 years old, right? Like, oh, I got to throw some certs in here and make sure I have that too. But this is also, I'm trying to sound proficient. I'm trying to sound like I'm very sophisticated and I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is, to me, when you read that, you're like, what in the world? And Steve's example, straight to the point, simple. How you can show that you know something? So when you take that complex topic and you simplify it.
Yes.
Not when you use overly complex words.
Yes. If you are telling me you're best in class, I'm already not believing you. Show me with what your projects are, what your experience is, what you've achieved in your resume. That's how you show if you are truly best in class. So, anyways, all right, that is the first one. The second one, John.
The time traveler. So, yeah, I love these. There's two things to this I think is great. One is, and here's the example, proficient in Windows 95, Lotus Notes, and Novell NetWare. Now, I actually used all of these back in the day, but I would never put these on a resume, a modern resume, because, I mean, what are you trying to do? You trying to get old man creds? Like, oh,
You're trying to show your age.
Yeah. They use Novell. Somebody's going to be like, what? Okay, dude, are you still stuck in that age? Right? It's not good. And I'll also say another thing. Maybe if you're a new grad, you can put Office on your resume. But if you put it on there, I'm proficient in Microsoft Office, I'll be like, I hope so. I mean, I get, there's levels to Excel. Excel can be like, maybe you're applying for an accounting job, and then you can, there's a level, there's depth to Excel. Word, I mean, come on. Listen, my middle schooler knows how to use Word. Let's go. Like, don't put that on your resume as a skill set. And I've seen it. Lots of resumes, I've seen it. So, yeah, what else about this one? Don't put the antiquated software on there, hardware on there.
No, not at all. Yeah, I mean, you have to, so we deal with a lot of different people from different age groups, from different backgrounds, and we work with a lot of people that are transitioning from non-IT work into IT work, right? And for an entry-level job, you might be working with a hiring manager that is way younger than you. And if you start throwing down Windows 95, Novell, I mean, they're going to be like, what the hell is this? What I don't even know what this is. So just focus on the position description. If you know these things, that's great. Maybe there is a point in time in the interview or that you can kind of throw this in and just mention it if the conversation goes there. But don't put this on your resume. That is some real estate that you can use for something that's more modern, that can actually benefit you in that hiring process. So yeah, please leave that alone.
Yeah. The only exception I might give is if you, like mainframes. Mainframes, people still use mainframes. Like it's a thing. It's still out there. And if it was current experience, hey, I administered a mainframe, I secured a mainframe, I helped set up the policies around mainframe usage. You might think, well, that's old. Steve said don't put that on there. But it's old, but it's been around forever and it's current in use. Novell NetWare, if they're using Novell NetWare, there's a problem.
No, you're right, John. Absolutely. There are certain things that are still used today. And I mean, my assumption is if you are going to apply to a mainframe position, obviously you want to put down that you have a mainframe experience. there may be a place in time where you actually want to tell that you have mainframe experience if it fits the job description that you're trying to go for. If the position description says nothing about mainframe and then you've done a little extra digging research on the company and you just can't find anything about mainframe, if that is on your resume, you can use that real estate for something else that can benefit you more. I'm not saying don't put it on there, just be smart about when you put it and how you put it and for what positions. And that's where the whole tailoring comes into, right? But anyway, so that's that. So instead, focus on proficiency in Windows, Linux, Windows 11, Ubuntu, whatever it is, and focus there because that is where most of the jobs and opportunities, organizations focus on Windows or Linux, and just focus there.
You have a good example, proficient in modern Windows, and you don't even have to say modern. Just you can say proficient in Windows and Linux system administration, including examples, right? But you could still talk, even if you were a Novell NetWare server administrator, that still is good, even though it was a long time ago. Like you were proficient in server administration. I wouldn't put Novell NetWare in there.
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, so that was number 2. Number 3 is an all-you-can-eat skills list. And
this is like the buffet.
This is, yes, and I see this all the time. And I see it more coming in from resumes that don't have any previous IT or cybersecurity experience, right? Mm-hmm. And I understand you want to let them know that you have skills on all of these different things that you've worked on in your training, in your studies, in your labs. Like, I get it. Right. But we have to be strategic about this, guys. We really, really do. And having a skill list that is over almost half of one page of your resume, that's not good. If there's other creative ways to fill in some of those gaps in your resume, if you can't fill a one-page resume, there are other ways to do it instead of just continuing to add every single skill that you've ever acquired. So please.
And a lot of times it's actually not even skills how do I know how proficient you are in that skill? Just because you put it down doesn't mean that you're proficient in it. You put it down because you thought it was useful for me to see your resume. Oh, blockchain. Okay. Did you read a book about blockchain? Did you use blockchain? I don't know what you did with that, right? And so that big, list, I will actually usually call people out on it, especially some of my favorite things. If I see something on there, shout out to Nmap. If I see Nmap on there, I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite, switch command? How do you normally like to use Nmap? What's the different outputs for Nmap? I'll start quizzing you a little bit on like that tool that you put in your skills list. And I'm like, well, okay, let's see if you actually know it, right? So that's also beware. You might think it's going to look cool because I have the list, and then they probably won't ask me about it because it's such a bunch of lists of things. But I usually use that if you make it through to an actual interview to call out, oh, let me ask them about this to see what do they know about it. So this is another point too, just in general. Whatever you put on your resume, be ready to speak to it. Be ready to talk about it. Don't just put it on there just to get through the HR filter.
No, please don't. And we see this all the time. People put everything. And when we're talking about skill lists, I'm talking about literally people will put on there Python, Java, Windows, AWS, Azure, malware analysis, pen testing, threat hunting, blockchain, AI, Docker, incident response. I mean, you're literally throwing everything in there. And like John said, we want to switch that to where you can say something like incident response and threat hunting skills, and then you could say with Splunk or with Elk, right, or cloud security, and then you can say with AWS, Azure. Compliance frameworks that you've worked on, you can use NIST, the ISO 27001. Like, be more specific than just listing everything out. But going back to what you said, John, I've seen it. I was victim of I guess I was a victim of this. This was me fresh out of college. I was trying to get a job. I had done one assignment using Bash script, and I put it on my resume. And I will never do that again because I go into this interview, it was with Sony at the time. I go in there with this interview for just a SOC analyst or a security analyst with Sony. I go into the job and everything's going great. I had put on my resume that I was proficient in English and Spanish, and they had a person that spoke Spanish on the other side of the phone talk to me in Spanish to see if I actually knew Spanish. So thank God I did. But the other thing that they did was they started asking me questions about bash scripting, basically to see how much I knew, kind of, where I was with that. And for some of the simple was, yeah, sure, whatever. Then they started to get in deeper, and I had no clue, no idea what to say. I'm not saying that was the reason why I didn't get a call back, but I'm saying it definitely didn't help me, and it didn't look good that I had something on my resume, but I couldn't fully talk about it and be confident enough to share real experiences of what I've done with it and how I used it. So definitely, make sure that whatever you put on your resume, you have a story behind it. You can give an example of how you used it or how you know it, and you feel confident talking about it. Even if it's intermediate, beginner level, just make sure you have something.
Yeah, no, great example.
All right. So anything else with this one, John?
No, less is more, right?
Absolutely. Less is more. All right. Number 4. This new generation, I have to say. The emoji enthusiast. You don't need emojis on your resume, people. You do not need them. And it's one good giveaway. If you use ChatGPT to help you, or any AI to help you with your resume, and it has emojis, and you literally do a copy paste and do not remove that, come on, seriously. Like,
putting it in the shredder. It's going in the shredder.
Yeah, it literally looks like a teenager's group chat with just emojis. Like, it's not good. It doesn't look good. No. It just doesn't give a good impression. Not at all. So please, just no emojis whatsoever on your resumes. Period.
Yeah, I can't think of a good reason, period. And really, in general, if you're messing around, right? You're chatting on the job, you can use emojis, right? You're chatting with your team.
That's different.
Yeah, but if you're trying to get in the door, you better not have any in your emails, in your correspondence, whatever, in your text messages, anything you send back and forth. Just keep it professional.
Please, don't show your age.
Yeah, one is the old. This is the young, right?
Yes. Yeah. And one of the things I had here on my notes was these AI tools that kind of skim through resumes and stuff. They can't read emojis, so it could actually hurt you. Instead of giving you any sort of help, which emojis on a resume will never help you, but it can just hurt you even more. So
quick story. I don't think we have this in the list because, I don't know. It's probably pretty odd. But also, don't try to make your resume into a C program that could be compilable if you're a computer science student. We're not calling out any. If you're listening to this, Jason, we love you. But
please leave a comment, Jason, if you're listening.
If you're listening to this, please leave a comment. He's killing it now. He's doing great. But at the time, as a student, he made a questionable decision to make his resume look like a C program, and we gave him some friendly advice. So just don't do that.
Yeah, that did not make it into the top 10. I think that was a one-time unique experience there.
Okay, moving on. All right, I'll do the next one. So kick us off. Personal life overshare. So what do you think? Like what are some examples of personal life overshare in a resume?
Yes, listen, if you enjoy D&D and drinking with your buddies and hacking your neighbor's Wi-Fi, that's good for you. And maybe there will come a time and place where you can share those stories, but please don't put that on your resume.
Right. I do think, and I will talk about hobbies. Hobbies, like, you got to be professional about hobbies, right?
Yes.
I think you can say what clubs you're part of.
Yep.
As long as it's not too off the reservation, right? As long as it's like a kind of semi-related to to
Yeah.
the job, or just professional in a way, right? Like I'm not totally against hobbies, because I might ask you about
No.
it. Hey, that's cool. Tell me about this. Now, would I put, avid video game enthusiast? It's a bit borderline, right? Because then you
Unless
kind
you're
of,
unless you're applying to a gaming
there you
company
go.
to do
Yeah.
security work for them.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's better to play it safe. Prepare to hopefully they'll ask you about you. They want to know about you in an interview. So
Yeah.
you have that opportunity to still talk about your passions, your hobbies, your off thing. That's all cool. I want you to talk about those things, right?
Yeah.
Because we ask about that because we want to
Yeah.
know, like, what are you into? How can we relate to you? But you don't have to put that on your resume. It's really a borderline whether or not you even put it on there, unless it's kind of professional-ish, like Toastmasters. Maybe you love Toastmasters and that's something that's kind of almost like a hobby for you. That's perfect to put on a resume, right? Something like that.
The last thing we want to do is be part of a crime when we have on the resume that you are committing things that could be a felony, and now it's like, really? We do not want to hire this person. We do not want to give this person any sort of access to anything in our environment. Like, we cannot trust this person. And they're literally giving themselves up on their resume. So please, play it safe. Talk about hiking, or if you like to shelter dogs, or anything else, just focus on keeping it professional, please.
Yeah, and you have on here the capture the flag competition. That's cool.
Yep.
If those are security related, right? That's perfect to put on there. If that's something you actually do and you like to do it, now be prepared. Somebody may ask you about it.
Exactly.
Don't just put it on there and you're like, oh, well, which ones do you like to do? And you're like, I don't know. So just like we said, be prepared to talk about it. But those kind of things are perfect to have, and if they don't ask you about it, that's fine, right? But it could be a potential opportunity to ask you about it, and then it helps you in the interview. Oh yeah, I've been doing this one capture the flag, or I did this one the other day and it kicked my butt. Like, those are great opportunities to talk about security and personal life crossover that actually are cool for us to hear about. Oh, I really love doing this. It's something I do in my free time, things like that. Yeah.
Also, if you have some really cool stories, right? Like if you've climbed Mount Fuji in Japan, like that is a story. Right. That is a cool story. If you were an extra in like a really cool movie or something, like that's unique. That's different.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That could be an icebreaker or conversation starter. Things like that, absolutely. But if you don't have those, or if you're unsure that some of your stories would fit, send us a message. We'll be happy to give you some feedback, some recommendations on how to word it, if so. But if you do not have some of those, I would just play it safe, keep it simple. Like John said earlier, less is more.
Yeah. Or maybe go climb Mount Fuji, then you can put it on your resume.
Hey, that's definitely a conversation starter for sure.
All right, on to the next one, the mystery gap.
Yeah, so this is
the mystery gap.
Yeah, so this is where, for example, your work history jumps from 2018 to 2022 or 2024, and there's that gap of nothingness, and it's just completely empty. And we as the potential hiring manager, with no backstory, with no history of what went on, are seeing that, and that's a red flag. That's a red flag for us, because we don't know, like, what happened. Did he go off the grid? Is he a spy? Like, I don't know. Like, what happened during that time? So, it's understandable if, hey, a family emergency happened, or if there was some healthcare issues that had you stepping away. Like, absolutely, that's understandable. But you have to know that going into an interview or going into creating a resume and submitting it, the person on the other side is going to be asking questions like, why is there a gap? Did they get fired and it took them that much time to find a job? Why did it take them that much time to find a job? There's just so many questions that come up. There's so many things that kind of go through someone's mind as to why is there that gap.
Right. A great example is Grant, who we're talking to again this season, right? He worked and then decided to go on walkabout,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
went across the country, went to some national parks, got to see cool things, became a baker and
Worked
a
in a farm.
farmer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like worked on a farm and then decided to come back to cybersecurity. And that's okay,
Yes.
Like we're like, man, that's actually cool. You went and explored and did a thing and it had adventures, and then you're back to it. You're trying, I got to make some money here, right?
Absolutely.
So you can craft that in a way on your resume so it helps fill in that just empty blank. Like if you put something in there that says, hey, I did some things here that helps us understand, well, wait a minute, why is their last job here and now they're trying to apply for this job? And then look, when we interview you, we want to know, hey,
Yes.
tell me more. That you want to word it in a way that is like a teaser. Hopefully it's a good story or there's something good behind it. Sometimes bad things happen and that's understandable too.
Yep.
But if there is something where you had a gap that you could lead up to, you're going to be asked about it. They want to know.
Yes.
Can you help us understand what was this gap? And then if you've got a story and you've already teased it in the resume, then that just is even better.
Yep. Absolutely. So having a gap is not a terrible thing. So please don't misunderstand us. It's just the hiring manager or company is going to be curious about it and want to know more and ask you questions. So just be ready. Just be ready to answer those. Hopefully there's enough information to say, oh, this is why, and it's good, and we can move on. But if you've just been a couch potato sitting in your couch just hanging out, it's going to be kind of tough to sell that when someone asks you what happened during this time. So
unless you're just straight up, just honest, like, listen, I'm a dummy. I was a complete moron. I thought it would be cool to live off my parents' income, and I found out I hated it. Okay. All right, we can work with that, but we got to go from somewhere. Like, why do we want to hire you now to know that you were a bum? But if you're super honest about it and vulnerable, you might have a chance. Listen, don't be a couch potato, right? I get it. If you're going to take some time off, go climb Mount Fuji. Hey, we're trying to tell you.
Yes.
There's a running theme here. I don't know, something about Japan.
Yeah. The thing is this, though, like one thing that we do recommend all the time, you've heard us say it, is that if you are going through a rough patch where you're trying to look for a job, you're doing all the things you can do, and you're just being unlucky, right?
Right.
That person is continuing to be involved in the community, continuing to do things, to educate themselves, to better themselves. So that is a good story.
Yeah.
Right. That is a good story to say, hey, I got hit with a little bit of bad luck. I was, let go or laid off or whatever. My project ended in my previous company. And, the economy is tough right now. Things are crazy. I've been having a little bit of a challenge finding a new opportunity. But in the meantime, I've been working on XYZ, volunteering, working on projects, continuing your education, getting a certificate. I mean, just showing that you are constantly proactive and you're continuing to improve yourself. That is all, as a hiring manager, we need to know to say, oh, this guy, he's got it. That gap, understandable. We know what happened. Let's move on.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Greatly said.
The next one.
I did everything. Man. So your example here, I managed all cybersecurity operations for a Fortune 500 company. Man, that's pretty impressive.
Congratulations.
But what did you do? Right?
Yes. And that means what?
Yeah. Okay. Did you do anything? Yeah, I mean, the point is like you're just so general, so vague about your top, what you put in your resume. You can start management. You can talk about management. You can talk about leading, but led a team to do what? Led the security team to blank, 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 right? Manage a team that helped reduce X, right? Things that are actionable, more specific. Don't just leave it to wide open. I mean, I can make up some things in my head of what that means that you managed all cyber operations, but you don't want to leave it to imagination, right, Steve?
No,
Yeah.
you do. That's the last thing you want to do. You don't want the hiring manager to have to think and guess what you mean by what's on your resume. A resume should be pretty cut and dry. Just simple to the point. This is what they did. Okay. It's enough to tell the hiring manager what you have done and what you have experience with, so that then they can come back and then want to interview you and want to dig deeper in the interview. Hey, in your resume, it says here that you led vulnerability management program. Can you tell me more about what that entailed? What did
Yeah.
you do? How did you do it? Because they may have the same issue, and now they're asking you, well, how would you handle that situation, or how did you handle that situation, or how would you? Because we want to hire you to come do the same thing for us, but before we do that, we want to see if what you plan to do is what we have in mind as well, or if it's even better strategy than what we thought. So it's good to say, be specific for sure. The other thing is you want to leave the ego at the door, because cybersecurity is not an individual sport, it's a team sport. You need your team to be successful for an organization. And if we kind of read the resume as I, unless you are a one-man shop at your organization, meaning you are the sole cybersecurity person, then I'm not going to believe you, and I'm going to think it's kind of fishy that you are the one doing everything. The other thing is, we've seen it where someone says, I did this, I did that, I did that. And then we ask them for more details. And then we come to find out, oh, well, he was part of the team that was in charge of setting up Splunk or doing this or that ever, but he didn't actually do the work.
Right.
It was somebody else or a couple other people in that group who actually did the work, the configuration, the setup, but they're taking credit for it. But then when you ask them a question, then you find out, no, they actually had nothing to do with it. They were just part of the team, but they didn't really do the heavy lifting. So that also just looks bad, right? Because at that point, we take it as this person's lying.
It's not a good look for sure. Great point. Yeah.
So just something to finish up here. So specific accomplishments are more believable than vague ones or vague claims. So be specific. Say exactly what you did. If you did work with Splunk, say what you did. Don't leave it just vague in general. Be specific.
But don't be too detailed, right? Be specific enough.
Yes.
That's where some of the craft comes in of the resume writing. It's like, don't give us a paragraph of every little thing, but be more specific than general. I guess a good way to word it.
Yeah. All right, the next one. Oh man, so this is important, right? Believe it or not, I think this is probably one of the most important things on a resume, because it's like first impressions, right? Even before I read the resume, if I get a document sent to me that I'm reviewing that has crazy fonts and it's like in pink, like the color is pink, like what am I reading? Like, come on guys, like seriously?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, thinking about the presentation of the resume.
Yes.
Fonts are mainly what you're presenting. Some people put color. I'm a little too reserved to put colors and all that stuff. I've seen good resumes that have color. That's okay. I'm just a little bit more old school. If I were going to do it, it would still be black and white. But your fonts, I mean, that's really your resume. That's the words to present your words on the resume.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just the font, but just the format of the resume itself. Like just that's like first impression. It's like you're going into an interview and you're wearing a white t-shirt, and it's like, come on, man, that's first impression. You could be amazing at cybersecurity and have all the experiences and check all the boxes, but if my first impression is not good, then you're already starting in the negative. So for a resume, it's the exact same thing. You want it to be clean, to the point. I am also kind of old school like John, but I've also seen some pretty interesting resumes that include picture. Like people have put their actual picture on their resume that I was like, okay, well, this individual made it work. They made it work. I wouldn't recommend that for everybody, but this person made it work. But yeah, people could argue and say, oh, well, that's common sense, Steve. Well, you should see some of the resumes we get.
That's right. Now, I'll be honest. It's been a long time since I've had to actually do a resume. You know, I need to update it. You never know. We got to keep it handy. Steve might take over, and I got to get a new job. But font wise, I'm not scrutinizing my font, but I do try to make it look right. So what are some font recommendations?
So keep it professional. So Arial, Cambria, Times New Roman. I mean, you might think those are boring, but that's just simple, to the point.
Yeah.
Just
don't use wingdings.
no, don't. Yeah, please don't. But anyway, yeah. So formatting speaks before words do. So keep it clean and to the point, please.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. The next one.
All right.
Number 9. What you got?
Certification chaos. So this is where we're working with an individual who has taken every single certification possible, and they are just throwing them all into their resume without trying to tie certain ones to position descriptions, to what they're applying to. But this person has taken every single certification under the sun, and they're just throwing it all into their resume.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I think like some people used to do, and I don't see this as much anymore, but even on their email signatures at the bottom, and they just put a line.
Acronyms.
Just acronym after acronym. And I'm like, okay, great. You're a great test taker. Good job. And I think too, just this point of like, well, you could have gotten a certificate in something technical, but has nothing to do with the job that you're applying for. Mm-hmm. So should you put that on your resume? If it has nothing to do with the job you're applying for, then no, right? If it's in the same ballpark, maybe, but really keep it simple, keep it clean, keep the certs on there that are specific, even though you might even think, well, they're security, right? And even for me, like I wouldn't put my A+ certificate that I got in 19 whatever, that nobody cares about that 25-year-old certificate that I got, right?
Not just for you at this point in your career.
Yeah, exactly. It's not relevant. It's not important. Now, hey, I'm glad I got it, but I should not include that in a resume.
No, absolutely. And we're not saying that having certificates is bad. They are good. It just depends how you use them and how you show them in your resume. So, for example, if you have taken every single resume under the sun for cybersecurity for entry level, but you don't have any stories or any work experience to go with them, they can only get you so far. The other thing that John was just talking about is tying them to different position descriptions, tailoring your resume so that they fit each position description. I was working with an individual. He had a 2-page resume, and he was kind of fighting me on the idea of bringing that down to just 1 page. And he was trying to get me to understand, but I've done so much. I want them to see everything that I've done. And I kept trying to tell him, they don't care about everything that you've done. They care about what you've done that fits the position description for the person they're looking for. That's what they care about. So if we can pull out the things that fit this position description and put them into a resume, it will be 1 page and it'll be solid. Unfortunately, we went back and forth. Didn't really work out, and that's okay. Sometimes, people want to listen to you. Sometimes they don't. So we wish them good luck and, see you later. But I get it. Like sometimes people get a little too emotional with like, but I've done all these certifications. I want them to see what I've done. Also because maybe they don't have real world experience. So again, they're just trying to fill that 1 page with as much cybersecurity content as possible, which I get it, but there are more creative ways to do that. And we can help you with those things. We can help you how to phrase something or how to explain something or just, shifting the focus on your resume to utilize the space in a proactive way that will actually fit the position description and make your resume look solid. So yeah, I mean, it is good to have certifications. Just use them smartly and really focus on listing the certifications that match the position description. That would be my 2 cents here.
Yeah, last thing I'll say on this is just like I had to at some point cut off years of experience off the resume, right? Like it didn't make sense for me to have jobs that I had in 1999, even though they were IT jobs, on my resume. Like, yeah, it's IT, but it's not really going to be helpful. Number one, it's too much.
Yes.
Number two, it's not directly applicable to what I'm applying for. So I get it. You're kind of like, oh, but I, right? And I had certificates in there too. But it's not going to help me. Keep it simple, keep it straightforward, keep it focused on what you're applying for. Just because you've got experience. And a lot of people that are transitioning from other jobs, this is a challenge because you're thinking, man, I've got 15 years plus of other type of career experience. I want them to know that I'm not like a new right out of college or whatever. I want to make sure they see all this career experience. Well, you can do that, but you don't have to put every position that you've ever worked.
No. And you want to highlight positions where you have done tasks, things that can translate into a cybersecurity role or being part of a cybersecurity team, right? Anything that has to do with customer service, you will need that. We want to highlight that. Anything that shows you, shows you in your problem solving skills, we can use that. We can recycle that and repurpose that. There's a number of things that we can do so that we are using some of your previous employment information, but tailoring it and talking about it in a way that will actually benefit your future growth in cybersecurity, to highlight certain things that does match a cybersecurity role, especially entry level. So again, if you would like some help with that, let us know. We'd be happy to help you. We do this all the time. So yeah. And lastly, but not least, is the objective. Like at the very top of your resume, sometimes we see people add an objective, sometimes they don't. I can go either or, but if you are going to do it, please just
I say don't do it. I say don't do it. I used to do it. I used to have it. And like, your objective is to get a job. We get it. We get it. Everybody, that's their objective. They're applying for this position. Yes. I think it is old. I don't really think it doesn't really add to your resume, put it that way. Like, how does it help me to know, okay, I know you want this job. You've applied for it.
Yeah. And what we see is people will have an objective and then right under it, they'll have like a summary, like a professional summary, like a summary. And I'm like, it's kind of the same thing. I would choose one. And I actually prefer the summary more than I do the objective. Because like John said, we know what the objective is. You're applying to this role. You're applying to this position. So I think it's just, again, taking up space where we can add more important things that will actually strengthen your resume and your opportunity. And I mean, I wasn't going to say that, but John, I believe you. I think at this time and age, get rid of the objective altogether. Forget it. Yeah. Don't worry about it. Just go straight into your summary and then give us the meat and potatoes of the rest of your resume.
Yeah, like a good example you have here is objective: to obtain a challenging position where I can utilize my skills in a growth-oriented company. And that was like a normal thing for people to put on resumes, but it is old. It really doesn't help add value to your resume. We know you're trying to find a challenging position, and it's kind of played up anyways. So I would just skip it.
I agree. I would say just skip it altogether and tell us. You can say this in better words, better phrasing under your summary.
Yeah.
Really.
If you don't agree with this, drop a comment like, hey, I think objectives are number one. Feel free to comment. Hey, if you remember your objectives back in the day, throw them in the comments like, hey, I had this on my resume. Hopefully I don't have any old resumes that have this on there, but yeah, drop it in there.
Yeah, or yeah, and if you agree, disagree, or if you've had any of these mistakes in your resume, let us know in the comments. Shoot us a message. We'd love to help you. But yeah, that is the top 10 mistakes that we have seen with the number of people that we've had the pleasure to work with and just reviewing resumes. This is what we're seeing. And hopefully now you, the listeners and our viewers, can go back, take a look at your own resume and change some things up if you have one or more of these in your resume.
Yeah, I mean, and once you build a good structure, good bones, then you can tailor it. You know, you don't have to get crazy and customize it completely with every job position, but you do want to do the best you can to customize it to that position. But don't overdo it, right? I know it gets frustrating, and if you're applying for a ton of jobs, you're like, I can't customize it for everything. Don't. You know, the bones are there. You know,
Yes.
your skills and experience are not going to really change a lot based on the position, but you might just tweak it from there. What do you say about that?
No, absolutely. I was going to say, so when people kind of hear us talking about, oh, tailor your resume for each position, they think the worst. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to write a new resume for every single position. If I'm applying to 15 jobs per week, that's a lot of resumes. Well, hold on a minute, right? Especially if you're just now starting. There's only so much experience and so much knowledge you have. What could classify as a tailored resume is some of the things that we were just talking about, right? If you have certifications that better fit that position description, I would highlight those. If there's specifically named security tools that position lists that they want experience with, and you have experience with those tools, then I would focus on those tools. For example, if you have experience using both Splunk and Elk for a SIM, but you're applying to a position where they've highlighted Splunk, then I would just put Splunk. I wouldn't even put
Yeah.
Elk in there because
Nope.
that's really what they want.
Right.
So when they're going through that review of keywords and key things, that AI unit, they have Splunk, the word Splunk in their position description, and if they see it on your resume, that's going to be a good hit. So that's kind of what I would do, right? You only have so much experience with certain tools. You only have so much certifications. There's only little bits and pieces that you can do to switch. But again, if you've been doing projects that deal with phishing, and phishing is a big thing that they are looking for in this position, I would make sure to highlight that. Again, you have one page of real estate to work with. So that's where you kind of shift and move and switch things around to continue to fit that one page, but you have a list of things that you have done. So then you can pick and choose and just change little bits and pieces here and there. That is tailoring a resume. That is having a tailored resume for a specific position description.
Absolutely. Great advice. No, thanks for putting this together, Steve. And I think everybody can get a little bit of something from this, even me. Like, hey, I mean, I need to, you got to keep it handy, keep stuff handy for your resume, always be ready. But, somebody may ask you, even if you're long term in a position, hey, do you have a recent resume ready? You're like, oh, shoot. I don't.
Yeah.
Let me get it up to date. And I'm guilty of this too. But it's just good to, somebody might ask, maybe you're getting a new position. Maybe you're getting upgraded. Maybe you're moving up into a
Yeah.
different position. Sometimes they'll ask you for that resume as well. And
Absolutely.
you don't want it to look sloppy.
No, not at all.
Yeah, yeah. All right, Steve. Well, I think that's it. Anything
That
else
is
to
it.
close us out?
No, I just want to say thank you all for listening. Again, we are here to help you. So if you have a resume you'd like us to review, send it our way, or you can schedule a free mentorship session with Cyber Professional Services. That is us. And we'd be happy to give you some feedback.
All right. Thanks, everybody.